I think there's a good chance he might not win, and I think there's an even better chance that he would help weigh down people down the ticket.
If he's a nominee.
If he's a nominee.
How much would you expect Republicans to have to pour into the state if he's the nominee?
If I have to hear another word from MAGA about how the left has a political violence problem, I'm going to lose my mind. All this administration does is political violence. Killing Americans in the streets, killing innocents abroad, killing girls in their schools. This is the political violence administration. Hell, you are paying insurrectionists $1.80 billion right now. So I don't want to hear it. Especially with the post that Donald Trump just made, a clear death threat, a clear death post. And let's be clear about one thing. Donald Trump isn't doing this and he isn't making threats because he's a big, strong, tough guy. No, in fact the opposite. Donald Trump makes threats against Republicans and his political opponents more broadly because he is coming from a place of weakness. We are going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now it is that weakness, especially in the Senate ahead of these midterms, that I want to talk about. And it begins with John Cornyn, who lost his primary last night, talking about what the future of the Senate majority looks like given Ken Paxton's victory. Before we get to that Trump post,
I think there's a good chance he might not win, and I think there's an even better chance that he would help weigh down people down the ticket.
If he's a nominee.
If he's a nominee.
How much would you expect Republicans to have to pour into the state if he's the nominee?
If he's a nominee, hundreds of millions, several hundred millions of dollars.
Versus you?
Versus me, we can do it on our own. We don't need outside help.
Paxton will call for you guys to go positive in these final days of the campaign. You decided not to continue to attack him. Why?
Well, I think it's time for accountability. He's gotten away with so much for so long and not been held accountable for it. But I think he is an embarrassment, his misbehavior, and he's completely unrepentant. I mean, it's one thing for a person to make a mistake and then say, you know, I'm sorry, I'll do better next time. But that's not Ken Paxton.
John Cornyn is very interesting as a so-called Trump enemy. This is a guy who has pretty much gone along with everything Trump has done. He's certainly not the most MAGA person out there, but he does what Donald Trump says. There's that stupid photo of him reading The Art of the Deal, or pretending to read it, has fallen in line. He's a little foot soldier for Trump. And so for Trump to have gone after him so hard, and to say that he's a fake, that he's a RINO, that is just humiliating. Especially because now he has given himself a tremendous problem in the form of Ken Paxton. If Donald Trump did not exist, Ken Paxton would be far and away the worst politician in the country. And he is going to cost Donald Trump in a huge way, which is also part of the reason that the post he made was so crazy. We're going to get to it, but I just want to hear a little bit more about Ken Paxton and why Donald Trump is freaking out so much right now. Trump left the door wide open for midterms with $100 million mistakes, says one GOP analyst. As results came in for the Texas GOP Senate primary last night, CNN analyst weighed in on what the cost will be down the line. A veteran CNN correspondent, Brian Todd, said that Donald Trump's decision to endorse Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is a $100 million mistake. Trump chose to endorse Paxton over Senator John Cornyn, whom political pundit Alyssa Farah Griffin described as a monster fundraiser and big contributor to Senate Republicans. CNN anchor Anderson Cooper already pointed out that nearly $130 million has been poured into the Texas GOP primary. According to Griffin, if Paxton wins and squares off with Democrat James Talarico, which he is, you may be having to bail out this candidate who has tremendous vulnerabilities, to say the least. Todd, meanwhile, said that one of Paxton's biggest weaknesses is that he's a bad fundraiser. He also said Cornyn's defeat gave Democrats a theoretical chance of winning in the midterms, but predicted that Republicans would retain Cornyn's seat. I'm not too sure about that. Cooper also described Talarico as a phenomenal fundraiser, which he has been with small-dollar donors. Van Jones, who I don't really like, chimed in that Donald Trump is going to wind up flushing $200 million down the drain. This was a massive miscalculation for Donald Trump, and it was all to assert his political power. Now I want to talk about that a little bit more, but after we talk about this insane post, clearly a death threat that Donald Trump is making, or at least suggesting the death of any political career of a Republican standing in his way. This is crazy to me. I guess we should get used to it at this point. But Donald Trump posted on Truth Social an AI photo, or I guess a picture of him with a dead rhino that he has ostensibly killed with his gun, saying no rhinos, repost to make the point clear. So Donald Trump shared this on Truth Social, saying he is going to kill with a gun any rhinos. Rhinos, of course, meaning Republicans in name only. Anyone who does not support Donald Trump 100% is to him a Republican in name only. So you might think Donald Trump is going really hard on the midterms. He's super locked in. He wants to get his way because he wants to win. That is not the case. Donald Trump doesn't care about winning. And we saw earlier today Donald Trump say, "I don't care about the midterms." He said that word for word. Take a listen before we talk about this more.
Economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me. We'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night. That was the prelude to the midterms.
The man says he doesn't care about the midterms, but with one stipulation. Trump said that his victory last night, Ken Paxton over John Cornyn, and his endorsement showed that he doesn't even have to worry about the midterms. But what does that tell you? What do the midterms mean to Donald Trump? It means that Donald Trump is not worried about having a majority of Republicans controlling Congress. He just needs allegiance within his own party. Why? Because Donald Trump can't have anyone stand up to him when he buries his big fat McDonald's ass in his bunker with his canned food and his hamburgers and says, "Come and get me. I've built a military bunker. I paid $2 billion for a standing army." Pete Hegseth is going to try to direct troops to commit and follow illegal orders. And we went after Mark Kelly for telling them not to. That is what Donald Trump's plan seems to be shaping up to be. Donald Trump is worried about full control over his party. And he wants them once again not to oppose him, but to go along with him when he tries to overturn an election, whether that be the midterms or 2028, or commits whatever other illegal act he has planned. But Donald Trump is threatening any Republican who does not follow along, threatening them with tracking down and killing them like an animal. That's what this post is. That is what Donald Trump is saying, that the result will be the death of your political career. Or in many instances, Republicans have talked about the fear that hangs over them and their families if they vote against Donald Trump, if they do not support him, whether the death threats will come in. And Donald Trump saying repost to make it really clear is also saying, go out there and make the message really clear. I'll give you a pardon, I'll give you a check. I'll give you the full support of Congress if you go out and commit political violence on my behalf. That is what Donald Trump is saying. And he's saying that to scare Republicans who might break with him at a time when they are increasingly doing so. Just yesterday we saw Republicans in the South Carolina House of Representatives say, no, we are not moving forward with gerrymandering. We see all the time discharge petition after discharge petition, whether on the Epstein files or Obamacare subsidies, of Republicans revolting against Donald Trump and bucking him. Right now Republicans are pushing back against Donald Trump's slush fund, and so he's saying if you do so there is a price to be paid. Your political career, and maybe not just the life of your political career but your life in general. There is no other way to take that post. This is what Donald Trump is suggesting. He's paying for a standing army to make it happen. He's trying to scare people to make it happen. This is what Donald Trump wants, and it is why it is so important that we not only take this seriously and stop playing into this idea that somehow Democrats are responsible for political violence. That's always been, we have certainly always pushed back against it, but we really have to win, people. Like we have to win. And James Talarico is a guy who certainly can. He gave a great interview with Lawrence O'Donnell last night. If you're not that familiar with James Talarico, you are about to be this election season. And I hope you'll really enjoy what he had to say right here. This guy can win.
Do you, based on everything you've seen, understand, can you describe how Ken Paxton so massively increased his net worth on a government salary?
I think we're going to have plenty of time in the weeks and months ahead to explain to Texans exactly how that's possible. Some of it is already known. You know, Ken Paxton was indicted for fraud. He was impeached for bribery. He has shown over and over again that he's only concerned about himself and that he's willing to use his position of public trust, his public office, to enrich himself at our expense. And again, Ken Paxton owns 11 homes while we can't afford one. Ken Paxton's net worth went up by 7,000% while our pay has been stagnant. So this is going to be the fight before us, because this is not just about Ken Paxton. It's about the corrupt system that he embodies, that he represents. If we can defeat the most corrupt politician in America in this year, in this race, in this state, then we can defeat this entire corrupt system. And if people watching are ready to join the movement that we're building, I hope they'll go to jamestalarico.com, sign up to volunteer, sign up to donate, because we're going to need everybody if we're going to defeat the most corrupt politician in America.
There's a University of Texas poll from April, now outdated, but poll in April, Talarico versus Paxton, just isolated the two of you, and it had you running at 42 and Ken Paxton then running at 34. Now he's a winner. of the Republican nomination. Now he has Donald Trump's endorsement, so we don't know what that would mean to that polling now. On the issue that we just discussed before the commercial break, Donald Trump's war in Iran, the University of Texas poll showed in Texas 49% disapprove, 37% approve. So that your position obviously is the winning position, as it were, in that particular poll, and the winning position with Texas voters. How important do you think that issue, that the war in Iran, is going to be between now and November?
I think it's going to be a very important issue. Texans are feeling the pain at the pump, and it's because of this disastrous war in Iran. I put forward a proposal to suspend the federal gas tax, which would lower gas prices by 18 cents a gallon immediately. I've also proposed suspending the federal diesel tax, because when the price of diesel goes up, the price of everything goes up, because that's how all of our goods are shipped.
This is what we need in the United States Senate. James Talarico is a great candidate. It's been really funny to see Republicans go after him and say that he's a freak because he's a vegan, which he's not. But it's also funny for people who are like, oh, I can't eat seed oils or that type of butter, to try to criticize someone for their dietary choices. Isn't that their whole Make America Healthy Again thing? We don't eat Skittles. And if someone didn't want to eat processed meat, now you have a problem with that. You have to pick a lane here, people. You can't be a freak for liking broccoli but not a freak for RFK Jr. eating snake meat. You have to pick a lane. I don't know. They're the freaks. We know they're the freaks. They've always been the freaks. We're going to continue to call them out on the show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.